The other knock at the door is zillion knocks on doors to find the whereabouts of your prisoners of war and missing in action. It means you knock on every door worldwide. You don't care which door. If it is a door of a leader or door of a small smuggler, if it is a door of an other terrorist, if it is a door of Nazi, if it is a door of a mafia man, you knock on every door in order to bring the mother of your prisoners of war, of your MIAs, of your hostages, to let them know that you do something more to know if he is alive or dead.
Hello and welcome to Beyond the Peak, the podcast where we uncover the real stories, lessons, and resilience behind incredible lives and achievements. I'm Nimrod Mashiach, your host, and I'm excited to have you join me for another inspiring conversation. Today, I'm privileged to introduce Ory Slonim, a man whose life work is as impactful as it is unique. Ory is a distinguished attorney and mediator, but he's perhaps best known for his role as a special advisor to the Ministry of Defense, where he works on one of the most sensitive and emotional missions imaginable, securing the return of missing soldiers and captives. His work often involves navigating the delicate and challenging world of negotiating with adversaries, including terrorists, in order to fulfill a national and deeply human mission. Beyond his high-stakes work in defense, Ory has a remarkable role as the president of Variety, a leading organization dedicated to supporting children with physical and developmental challenges and their families. Through his work, Ory exemplifies compassion and leadership, helping to create opportunities for children to thrive despite the odds. In this episode, we'll delve into Ory's extraordinary journey, from his tireless efforts to bridge divides in the face of immense challenges to the resilience and empathy required for these diverse roles. This is a conversation about purpose, humanity, and finding strengths in the most complex situations imaginable. Let's step beyond the peak with Ory Slonim. Ory Slonim, thank you for coming to my show. It's a big honor for me.
It's my pleasure.
I've been preparing a lot for this conversation, for our meeting, and I know there are a lot of hot topics that we should be a little bit gentle, or we should think how we can deal with them in the right way. Yeah. But that's why I'm really passionate to interview you and to maybe dive deeper than I can, just with reading about your history and about your background. And soon I will tell about your book that came through my way and was fascinating for me to read your story.
Thank you.
But first, let's tell our audience about your background, about your history. So you are a lawyer, and
yes.
For how many years already?
52.
52 years. And through your journey as a lawyer, you've been doing an incredible journey. And I remember in your book, you mentioned the beginning and how everything has started for you, and about your family background, which soon we're going to dive deep. I would love to learn more about it. Mm-hmm. But for me, as a podcast hoster, which is exploring and researching everything about peak performance and about success and about the ability to handle incredible amount of pressure and weight on your shoulder in a specific moment, the stories that I read and your background and your history, for me, is an opportunity to learn. I'm going to ask a funny question, and I guess you will relate it and you understand why I'm asking. $1.
Yes.
How come that you ask $1 for an incredible mission that can impact the whole history of our country?
$1 in that meaning means that you are volunteering. Yeah. So $1 is volunteering. It's a symbol that you don't want to be paid. You don't want to be one of the formal staff of anybody, any formal body, any formal entity. And you said, I will be paid $1 annual, and that's enough. I can tell you very frankly, that I was in this business for many, many years, and I can tell you that my country didn't pay even the $30 or $34 for 34 years. So they still owe me.
So the country is owing you $34. All right.
Yes.
But I know your answer is logic, and I understand that, but I'm searching the deeper meaning. Because for you, carrying on your shoulders a lot more than just another case as a lawyer. I believe that there are a few hours left that you will never come back from your nights, long nights and days. What is your driving force behind it? Because money obviously is not.
It comes to the initial, I believe, principle. How do you want to manage your life? If you want to manage your life just by being successful in business, being a good father, being a good sportsman, whatever, or if you want your life to have some more values, which are dealing with things that most of people on earth are not doing them, are not involving in that matters. For your life to deal with the Israeli POWs and MIAs and hostages, I believe it's something that very few human beings on earth are dealing with. With the main issue, which means to be in the negotiation or to be in the looking the whereabout. First of all, it started by chance, like everything in life. That our late former president Chaim Herzog, who is the father of our current president Yitzhak Herzog, he called me one day when I was a young lawyer. He knew me from our profession. He was a lawyer also. And he asked me to come to volunteer for 1 year for this mission, just for something which I believe will be nothing for me, is connections between families whose dears were caught or were fall in captivity or were taken hostages, and try to be an intermediate between them and between the army and between the state. It's something like, more...
simple thing for you.
Very simple.
Yeah.
What I didn't know, that it will bring me deeper and deeper. First, the 1 year became 37 years. And most of my elder life, and number two, the tiny things, the tiny mission that Herzog meant at that time, became, I believe, the smallest corner of my duty, because very quickly after that, our Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin, who was formerly dealing with our hostages and prisoners of war and missing in action, asked me, I'd like you to stay more than 1 year, I'd like you to be with us, and I'd like you to have a formal title without being paid, but formal title, a special consultant to the Israeli defense minister. And the title is only for being allowed to see what we called the intelligence black material. The black material of intelligence is the most secret intelligence that the state has, and the ability to meet people in the government and in the agencies like Mossad, like Secret Service and IDF, and they have to see you, they have to speak with you, because if you don't have the title, then you are like everybody. But if you have such a title, they have to meet you. So it started like that, and then it became that I dealt with most of the cases in Israel, as from 1986, which was the year that our our navigator, Ronald Rudd, was dropped from his plane. He dropped himself from his plane and to Lebanon. It's a very famous story. And until these days of October 7, when I was again recruited in my very not young age to be with the government. And then I said, these days I don't want to deal with the government. I want to deal only with the families. And then I joined the headquarters of the families, which were found on October 7 at night.
Wow.
So, and from then until today that we are speaking here, I'm there.
Wow.
And if you ask me about something specific that pushed me to such, so the answer is very simple: nothing. It's myself.
Wow, I love this answer. I'm as a pro athlete, as a pro windsurfer, an Olympic windsurfer in my background, I was always searching within.
Yes.
And in order to perform at your very best in wherever, however, what you've been just mentioning, which is nothing, I've learned through the years that there is so much value in this nothingness. And sometimes we are taking life and we are making it so much more complicated. And there are such an amazing opportunities just around us and which we can't even see, or we might not even be able to take because we are making things so much complicated. By listening to you saying nothing, it's very deep.
Yes.
And
it's full of nothing.
It's full of nothing. But before we're going to dive into a spiritual question, because I researched your background and I know another a nice episode about your background, I want to let our audience to know about your history. So you grew up and you've been born in Israel, yeah?
I was born in Tel Aviv, and I was the first boy of the family in Tel Aviv who was born in Israel. At that day, Eretz Israel or Palestine, whatever you call it at that time. And after 6 years, the state of Israel was found when I was 6 years old. My family is from Hebron, which was Israel, Eretz Israel. And they were living there before me 7 generations. And we, the whole family, and my grandchildren and my sister's grandchildren are something which there are very few families in Israel who are so old, pure Israeli families. I can tell you that if those who lived here for years ago, they call themselves Palestinians. So I'm a pure Palestinian. Wow. I'm a pure Palestinian. I'm a Jew, but I'm Palestinian. As many other of my friends who are Arabs, who are whatever, who lived here and still living here. And my family was a part of a Chabadic family. The father of my family is Shneur Zalman Meladi, Schneerson, Baal Tanya, he was the founder of Chabad, which is a great movement all over the world. I in person, I'm not part of it because I'm not religious, but they say that I'm the only male who could be the rabbi. If I was religious, but I'm not.
But can I don't know if it's by coincidence or not, but I'm not religious too. I'm not living a religious life. But because I'm after always expanding my toolkit about mental approach, about health, about internal health, spiritual health, I came across about 4 or maybe 5 years ago with the Tanya.
Yes.
Tanya wisdom.
Yes.
And I've been studying a lot about different type of coaching people in performance, in their well-being, in wherever, however. Really, I've been studying a lot. But when I came across the Tanya wisdom, and I can't say that I know about the whole Tanya teaching, but what I can actually share, the things I've been learning from him, has transformed my life. Like the way I see myself, my attraction or my desires,
Yes.
or the way I see people, even people who act badly. Because of the Tanya's teaching, his view, I can understand what mechanism, driving them. And he explained it in a way which I never seen before, about how people reacting and why people are doing whatever they do, and what are their, let's say, he called it, I'm trying to convert it into English, he's calling it the beastly spirit,
Yes.
and the divine spirit.
Yes.
So we are all kind of, we are both, we got both. And he is teaching this, like the magic of life is to transform the beastic spirit into a divine spirit and to use the strength.
Yeah.
And have you ever been going through his studies? Have you ever got related to it in a way?
I tried to read the whole Tanya,
Wow.
which was very difficult. Which were very, very difficult for me to do it, because it's big, it's huge, it's contains so many wisdom sentences which you cannot.
I don't think there are so many people who can actually.
No,
read
you
it.
cannot swallow the whole. But I can tell you that and especially to you when you started your career as a boy who has a dream to stand on a stage and to get a gold medal, you waited the whole of your life. You waited for one moment or even 5 moments that you will get a gold medal. That's all.
Yeah.
And you will hear your anthem and you will see your flag, and then afterwards your life will be changed.
Yeah.
So I think that what happened to you is happening to everybody, and you have to understand that your life is very limited. People are living, from. I'm not talking about soldiers who are being killed in such a young age. I'm not talking about children who are dying in a very young age that we took care for these kids, disadvantaged kids. This is the reason that I dealt with them, because they have dreams, but it was cut at the beginning. So at the end of the day, I believe that everybody, even if he's a carpenter, even if he's very very low grade in life, whatever you do, shoemaker, whatever you do. And I'm not mentioning, for me, a shoemaker is a genius. But it depends how do you want to manage this limited time of your life.
But it's really interesting because you've been here a lot before me.
Yeah.
I think you're 81 years old?
81 and a half.
You look amazing. Soon I'm going to ask you about your health and how do you keep yourself so sharp and so vital. But before that, and let's stay with the Tanya approach for a moment. I know I might sound a little bit radical, but something about the modern approach for me, as someone who loves to explore life and to read history and I'm working with human beings. This is what I do in life. This is my passion. Modern world, I think it kind of failed. I mean, we are living in a time when wealth and abundance is open to more than everyone ever in the history of humankind.
Yes.
But in the other side, there are many people who use antidepressant pills today, and it's happening when our world is getting more and more rich and more opportunities for whoever, however. You can get degrees in 3 or 5 years, and you can study, and it seems like in our world today, it's easier than ever to succeed. But what happens in human level is that people are less and less happy, and they are seeking for happiness, which is kind of untouchable. And you mentioned before, yes, I've been doing my journey as a windsurfer. I've been chasing world titles many times in my career. And if I'll be very honest, one of the most hard moments in my career was on the podium.
Yeah.
Because I've been standing there, and I just finished a week. We raced the world champion, and a week of being total in zone and feeling at my very best. And I'm standing on the podium, and what I feel below this feeling of excitement is an emptiness.
Yeah.
And this is one of my calls, and this is why this podcast is actually running.
I can take your podium. I can take your podium, which is something material.
Yeah.
It's it's 3 stages. Number 1, number 2, number 3. I will take your podium and take it to life. And I think that first of all, I think that the main thing in our I believe in our dreams when we are very, very young is to be healthy, to be successful, to be perhaps rich, and to be appreciated. Appreciated. When you are very young, you want to be the head of the basketball team. You want to be the head of whatever, the head of those who are playing dramatic on stage, whatever. And afterwards, you want to have a material life that will allow you to live more comfortable. You see, in any stage, you have something else that drives you. And when you are getting old, the only thing which it cares for you to be healthy. Then you cannot start racing. You want to be healthy, that's all. And to prolong your life until you don't enjoy them. So what I can tell you that for me, the podium of life is not for me staying on the podium. It's for a young boy of 3 years old who was born without hands.
You're talking about your variety role.
About my variety role. And he became, when he was 4 years, he became a sportsman, but sports kid. And he was equipped with artificial hands. And he played basketball. And he's standing on my podium on number 1. And for me, this, for example, special kids are my podium because I want to see them coming to life, coming to normal life, even not only when they're becoming adults, but even when they're achieving anything in their younger age. And then when I entered this world of the world of law, the only thing which I wanted when I was a lawyer is not to deal with agreements and only what we call civil case. I didn't care about it, but I wanted to deal with people who failed once in their life, not with people who brought their life to be criminal, not with professional criminals, but with people like us who failed once in their life. And this is what we call the white collar.
Okay.
And I decided to deal with this. And this is, now at the end of the day, my dealing with the POWs, MIAs, and hostages is to deal with their families, with themselves, to see them coming back alive, like we're waiting for hours in Gaza. And for me, the achievement is when I see them back, I don't want to be with them more than say hello and okay, I'm satisfied. When I dealt with Gilad Shalit, the Israeli soldier, many people ask me, did you try to contact him, to see him many times? I said, no, I met him once when he came back. I was part of the group that freed him from 5 years in captivity. And then we went, my wife Tammy and myself, to his house in the Galilee. We met for half an hour. I think he didn't know actually what I did for him. He say, okay, and he was quite confused. And that's all. Wow. For me, he wasn't at that moment number 1 on the podium. He came back. And then I went along to others. So I'm now, when you're asking me this question, this is my answer. But for me, it's natural. It's natural. And my family and my kids and my grandkids and my wife, these are my small tribe that I would like them to live forever. I'd like them to be healthy. I'd like them to be successful. And I'm proud of them. and this is my egoistic attitude towards them, because they are satisfying my dreams to be a father, grandfather, a husband, whatever.
Yeah.
From time to time, you fail in this business, and from time to time, you enjoy it every moment of your life. So this is, in a nutshell, my
Thank
philosophy.
you. Thank you for your answer. It's I mean, I think people can't see it through our microphones, but behind me on your walls there are Jackie Chan's and some prime ministers. I think even the
King Charles.
the King Charles there, and so many around us here. And I hear you and I feel your energy, and you just mentioned before the nothingness and the simpleness in life. And this is very interesting, I think that Tanya has been teaching that too, that in order to be as spiritual, as higher as possible, you need to devalue yourself as much as you can. So it's not
devalue.
It's not devalue. I know it's hard to explain it.
It's to be the one who is very excited, and it comes to my former attitude to your question. It comes again that you are not, you don't want to be Olympic medalist. You want to be the one who brought the Olympic medalist to stand on the podium, number one. You have the greatest feeling. You are very proud, and you go further on to the next one.
Yeah.
So and look, I am not trying to play a game or to be hypocrite and to say that I don't want to achieve things. I want to achieve many things.
Yes.
When I was a kid, I wanted to be a basketball player. I was not at that time. I was tall. Afterwards, I saw that I'm not tall enough, so I put it aside. I was a paratrooper in the army, and I have more jumps from planes than most of the people in our country and my friends. But when I stopped it went to be a corner of my life. It's a corner of my life. And then you go on, you try to enjoy your life with more friends and people who you know, because every human being is a great book. Mm-hmm. Even if he is boring at his character, his life is a book.
Maybe it's a good time to say that your book is an amazing book, and I think there is a history here of the country, of your process, and knock at the door. Yeah, I've been going through this book, and it really inspired me.
Yes.
At first, and then of course I said,
You know what is the meaning? A knock at the door.
Maybe you should explain it better than me.
Yeah. From my point of view, it has two meanings. One is very cruel. It's the knock on the door of a family that those who are coming to tell them the brutal news about their son, about their father, about the soldier that died yesterday in the battle, or something happened to him. This is the knock at the door. Sometimes it comes after midnight, because you have to let them know as soon as you know.
Wow.
So you sometimes it comes after midnight. This is one knock at the door. The other knock at the door is zillion knocks on doors to find the whereabouts of your prisoners of war and missing in action. It means you knock on every door worldwide. You don't care which door. If it is a door of a leader, or door of a small smuggler, if it is a door of an other terrorist, if it is a door of Nazi, if it is a door of a mafia man, you knock on every door in order to bring the mother of your prisoners of war, of your MIAs, of your hostages, to let them know that you do something more to know if he is alive or dead. And I can tell you that somebody asked me once, why you know what's mitzvah?
Yes, mitzvah.
How do you call it in English? Mitzvah.
Yeah, mitzvah. It's a Jewish explanation. Yeah, yes. Mitzvah. It's an act. It's an act of good. Let's call it.
Now, in the Jewish tradition, there are lots of mitzvah.
Yeah.
And you know which mitzvah is the first one?
ואהבת לרעך.
Freeing a prisoner of war.
Wow.
Pidyon Shvuim. Number one. Now you don't understand why it is number one, because there are many other things who are valuable just like that. But no. When you are a prisoner of war, or if you are being held as an hostage, you never know what will be your fate in the next second, because your life is with the hands of somebody else, cruel, hostile, whatever. So this means you have uncertainty of your life in that situation. You know, even if we are dying, not dead, dying towards that, you know, there are doctors, there are medicines, there are good hospital. If not in your country, in the US, you have hope, some hope. But when you are there, just dreams. And you are afraid that the one who keeps you there in the cell or whatever, wherever, will kill you in a moment. And it happened now in Gaza. It happened also worldwide. So this is the explanation that I got from a rabbi, by the way, a Chabadic rabbi, who told me once, this is the reason. It's the uncertainty in life.
Okay. And you know, the uncertainty in life, it's driving me to one of the most important questions. You have been sending as Israeli representative to speak with terrorists.
Yes.
To close deals.
Yes.
To save life of soldiers that
or to know the whereabouts.
Or to know something about, to get some information about them. And when I read your history, when I try to understand your life, which I think I can never understand as hard as I try.
They are very simple.
And for me, the number one question is, how do you prepare? And if you can take us to a moment or to a case that you remember that you've been maybe working for Gilad Shalit or for Ron Arad, how do you prepare to a meeting with a terrorist that, I mean, like, someone is going to take care of you? Are you coming with a soldier to protect you? Do you sleep in the night before? I mean, it takes weeks or months to prepare for such a deal. Like, can you please take us into this type of moments?
There are very many corners of attitude to your question. But at first, I can tell you that if you ask a doctor who is operating a terrorist who is his enemy, who is his ugliest enemy, and he's coming to his hospital, wherever, and he has to operate him to save his life. And you say, why are you saving your life of one that soldier or your army tried to kill him a couple of hours ago? But this doctor has his oath, has his he has to save life, no matter who is the customer, the client. You understand? So this is the physical answer.
Okay.
The other answer is that for me, I can meet, I believe, I can meet anybody in the world if he's the ugliest creature on the world, if he's the nastiest, even if I know that he would like in some ways to kill me. If I want to achieve the
Can you remember a moment like this?
No. No. I think that you have. I think that you put it. First of all, you put aside. You put aside all thoughts of fear. You put aside. It's artificial.
But someone is staring at you, and you know that this guy.
So you are not. Let me tell you something. I met lots of terrorists in my life. Mostly, I was guarded by somebody which I didn't see.
Okay.
Mostly, but some. I met some people who are very, very dangerous. And the way I approached them was a very soft things. For example, I knew that somebody who is a cruel guy, very cruel guy, and I knew that he's dealing only with evil. But from my intelligence, or from my government intelligence or from any agency, I knew that he is ill. I knew that he suffers in his stomach. So when I approached him, I said always that I will start with his health. And I will tell him in a way that I also suffer from my stomach, which can be true or not, but everybody's suffering. And then I will put him in such a corner that he would like to speak with me about his health. And then I will try to help him in his health. I said, look, if you want, we can postpone our discussion, do it whenever, a week, a month. Until then, I will try to assist you with a good doctor who is my best friend, who is living in Geneva, who is living in Paris, in Tel Aviv, whatever. Tel Aviv is not the best place to offer him. And I will take care on your stomach. And then it's not something which even takes him to a tunnel of cruelty or want me to do any damage to me, because I'm coming from a good corner.
So you're trying to talk with the human part of him.
Human. And I'm not talking now theoretically. I'm talking about an example that I had in my life. I came and I helped one of the ugliest terrorists on earth.
Okay.
When he had stomach
what is his name?
problem. It's all right.
Okay.
and I took him to doctors, not in Israel, but in a European country.
Okay.
And I took care for a month with himself, and I don't know if I saved him his life, but he got rid from his personal problem. Then he asked me, "What can I do for you?" I didn't want to have any consideration, any money, and I said, "Look, I'm dealing with humanitarian things, and I have a family that I'm taking care. Her name is whatever, and I would like if somebody in the world, not you, somebody, will help me to find his whereabouts." And he said, "Look," and I know what he knows.
Okay.
At that moment, he will tell me, I know this man and other man, I don't want to mention names.
Okay.
And he is in this place, other place. I know a man, I know some human being who knows. And then we are entering into another channel. His stomach is okay. Now it's my turn.
Yeah.
And he is helping me. And I'm not, from time to time I'm helping him, with some material things. If he tell me that he's in trouble with his wife, I'm telling you, take from me $500 and buy her a present from your friend.
Wow.
Well, many other very. It's not even. It's professional, but in my case, it come from my character. I know that you have to enter, not in the material, but into his heart, into his body, into his desires, and then you are. I believe that you are getting him to want to assist you.
I understand you.
Because you are coming from a very positive things. You're not aiming. You are not trying to come with a bunch of hundreds $100 and said, "I will pay you and you will give me." No, it's a nasty way to recruit human beings. If you want to recruit human being, you have to be with him and to be with him truly, without any games. You have your intelligence that he has these problems. But you have anything that you need for these meetings, and this is the way.
What was the longest preparation you have ever had to such a kind of mission?
First of all, mostly the preparations are longer than the issue itself, always. And
does it take weeks, months? Do you use different brains to help you?
There is no one answer to this question, because it depends on the specific case, the specific human being. I can tell you, for example, that in one case in my life, I wanted to meet somebody who has some information about something that I wanted to know about whereabouts of somebody, and I made a research on him, and I found that he's crazy on antiques, on archaeological antiques like you have in Israel, like you have in Lebanon, like you have in Syria, like you have in Egypt, and I mentioning many countries because I don't want to tell you which country I did it. And what I did is I approached people who are dealing with antiques in the world, and with antiques sites like we have in Syria, we have in Lebanon, we have in Egypt, we have in Jordan, and I send him a message that I have a piece of antique from Syria that I want him to see, and if he wants, I'd like him to find for me somebody who will buy it from me, whatever. And then he wants to see me. He wants to see the antiques. He wants to see how I got it. And at the end of the day, I'm meeting either him or his representative. If I meet him, it's a big success. If I meet his representative, it's a lesser one. And then I said, look, this is a piece of antique. I would like to sell it. And then he will tell me, look, I would buy it, but I would like to know your price. I said, my price is very high. It's 100,000 American dollars, whatever. And he said, I cannot afford. I said, okay, so if you can afford, just try to find me somebody who will buy it. And then he's not finding anyone. And after a couple of meetings, when we are getting more closer, I'm asking you, look, I'm not an antique a collector. I'm dealing with try to find the whereabouts of families. And he said, how can I help you in this? Because you want to lower the price. And I said, I will give you it as a present if you can find Mr. Cohen, if you find Mr. Levy. And then he got a present from me that he knows that it values a lot. I'm talking about something which is valuable. And then we are together. Either he can help me or not, or I know that he can help me. I know it before from my intelligence. So many.
So that's fascinating, because when I think about missions that you had on your shoulders, representing your country.
I never did it alone. I always was with other people who helped me. I always was with other people who gave me instructions of things that I will be more clever about the guy that I'm meeting. I got basic intelligence, either from formal bodies or from informal, and I got in contact with many of what we call bad people, but I smashed the bad.
Yeah.
I said I need something from him. From that time, we have to be friends. That's all.
Can you give this advice to any human being on this planet who want to achieve or to have some contact with whoever, however, about so many different topics? So this is might be the number one rule that you can give this advice. Just make
the number one rule is never try to recruit any human being without being before something like friends. Friends, it's friends. It's not real friends, but try to be more human before you recruit him professionally.
So you've been able to get into a friendship relationship with terrorists.
It's so-called friendship. It's not real, but it's you are recruiting his heart, and not only his mind. You see, you start from recruiting one's heart, emotion, and then you're coming to the rational side. If you're coming and said, look, I would like to know about Nimrod, whereabouts, you will get $100,000. You will say, look, cut the bullshit, I know nothing about him. He knows, but he doesn't want to be... but if we start with friendly attitude, it's it's like in any other part of our life. If you want to have more clients, if you want to have more customers, if you want to have more listeners, you have to think not about yourself, but about them. You understand?
Of course.
If you want as many listeners and viewers to your podcast, you don't say, I'm great, I'm good, my interviewers are the best. No, you said, it's good for you to see it, it's good for you to hear it.
Yeah.
It will do for you better life.
Yeah, but for me, it's incredible because I thought that when you're in a relationship with some other representative of his country, of his terror organization, I was not dreaming that this is going to be your answers about having a close relationship with him, trying to solve his problem in life with his health, with his mind.
And then at the end of the day, if you're sitting with a human being and need something from him, so if you will talk 99% about yourself, how good you are, that he can use you, and he said, this is a bullshitter.
Yeah.
He's talking 99%. But if you are talking about him 90%, he said, look, it's a human being. He is good. He's not he's not the type of enemy I thought. He's not the type of bad man, a bad human being I thought. So I believe that if you want to recruit, you have to use other methods than if you want to sell any small merchandise to somebody. Said it's good, it will make you bigger, taller, whatever, you will be a good sex player. No. First of all, try to enter his heart.
Wow. It's incredible for me. I was not ready to this answer.
All right.
You always mentioned...
How many Olympic medal owners did you meet in your life? How many?
Quite a few.
So you started good. You started good because if you want to know how to achieve a medal or how to get into this great achievement, it's not only training, it's not only being the best, it's knowing the person who did it or some persons who did it, to know that, for example, that your mental life is much more important than your muscles.
Totally.
So if I can tell you that I met many sportsmen in my life because I like sport and we use sportsmen for our disadvantaged kids. And most of them we became very good friends because we talked not only about the mission that he is a champion and he will hold in his hands a young boy. No, we're talking about him. I can tell you that we did in the basketball games in Israel I did for 31 years, a ceremony before the game starts in which one of the players is giving to a disadvantaged kid, either in wheelchair or walking, before the game. I can tell you that I got 99% reactions from the guy, from the sportsman, and 1% from the disadvantaged boy. 99% I got reactions for this mighty sportsman. He said, look, I started the game with the feeling of a hero, not because I'm a great sportsman, but because I saw this kid and made him laughing. I made him being happy. So, it's this part of the thing.
That's very interesting. So before we finish, I would love to ask you about your health. You're 81, but you look 50. Your energy is it's amazing, and I see you're so sharp, and your drive to life. It feels like the years didn't make anything about you. What are your secrets? How do you wake up? What is your structure of keeping yourself?
I'll be very short and sharp.
Yeah.
Everybody who is entering his age of 70 or 60, whatever, is starting to know and feel that his health is not as he was 18. So you have to tackle it. You have to deal with it. You have to don't do a big mass of it, and take the best doctors. Be happy if you can help others. And I can tell you that you can meet very few human beings at my age, including me, who are 100% healthy, and I'm not. I have lots of problems that I deal with them as I deal with everything. I deal with them with a smile, with a hope, and I can tell you that I love old people. One of my best friends is 95. I speak with him every day at 9 o'clock in the morning. I call him. He's very ill, like everyone in his age, including our age. But he said, "Look, Ory, your call every morning, which I'm expecting every morning. Don't miss. Once you miss, I feel very bad physically. So it means that you give him a call, you gossip with him, we tell him bullshits, he likes it, and then he has most of the day he's happy because of this. So don't talk about health, because health is nothing in your responsible. You can do sport, you can look nice, you can have muscles, but at the end of the day, health is much more than all this.
Totally.
So what is most important is your mental health,
Yeah.
and being an optimist guy.
Wow. Thank you very much.
It was my pleasure,
Thank you for your time.
and I wish you once to get back to your Olympic life.
No, I finished this one. Yeah, I'm on my second chapter of life, which is working with people, supporting high performance. And one of the things that I'm really after, it's about, I call it, to be a healthy achiever. To be a healthy achiever, because if we really research the people who succeed massive in life, and you can talk about Hollywood stars or even government, people who influence this entire planet, there is a big gap in between what we think about them and their real life.
Sure.
And I've been feeling and experiencing, I had the privilege to be the best in the world in my field as a windsurfer. And being best in my, in windsurfing, being best in the world, in the art that I love to do, it didn't make me feel more happy. If I be very honest, it made me be most of the time more fear of losing this identity. And what counts with being super successful is that the world is staring at you, and they are putting you into their own frame. So now your identity is getting hijacked by others. And for me, that distance is in between who I am as the number one in the world and who I am as a human being. In this gap, it was a lot of loneliness. And I had to fill up this gap. The way I filled up this gap is with meeting clever people, mental therapists, spiritual leaders, mental coaches, who helped me to develop my identity, who helped me to know who I am before.
You can compare it. You can compare it to something which is very, very symbolic. I met a couple of people who reached the peak of the Everest. Even those who were the first ones. I met them in my humanitarian variety life, and all of them had a crisis when they went down. Not the physical the physical going down from the Everest.
Physically, you are the best fit. You are the fittest in your life.
Then you feel the happiest on earth. Then you start your life. You started your life by trying to understand what I'm doing now. And I can tell you that some of the people who climbed the Everest became children aiders, became therapists, became people who had charities. They said, okay, now I was at the peak.
Meaning. They're searching meaning.
This was my now I want to help those people who life didn't achieve for them any climax.
Yeah.
And then you feel every day a climax. When you go down the hill, after getting your medal, If you're going down the hill after reaching the Everest piste, you start to do it for others, and then you have every day, another gold medal. Not only one.
Yeah, that's so true. And for me, this is one of the most important pieces with becoming a healthy achiever. And this is very interesting because most of the people, when they try to build a program, like their plan to success, they skip this part of why is important for me to succeed. Like who is going to benefit from my success? And you've been mentioning it, just explain it in such a beautiful way. So thank you about it.
Thank you.
I'm sure our listeners will have a lot of value for their own life.
I will sum up your words. I asked once a guy that I'm not admiring human beings, but I love them. I loved him very much because he was a very rich man and always helped others, kids and disadvantaged kids, and crippled people and poor. And once I asked him, why are you doing it? He said, because I'm egoist. I do it for myself, not for them. Because when you help others, you're doing the best for yourself.
All right, my friend, that was it. Ory Slonim, what a guy, what a performer. If, like me, you felt the amount of value that is injected into this episode, please share it with one human that you care and you think that is going to be a value for him. And I just wanted you to know that there is so much energy, care and love that is injected into this project. And with you being as an ambassador for this message, you're going to really help this energy and effort to spread out and to do good in this world. So until the next time, take care, do great things, and we keep up very, very soon. Bye-bye.